Hello, everyone. It's Sunday once again, and good evening here in the UK. It's just gone 8 o'clock. It's 12 minutes after 8 in the UK, which is very, very early morning in Manila. I hope some of you are still watching us, are still awake. I think it's like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in Manila. Probably some of you are up now for early morning shift because it's Monday morning there in Manila. The reason why I'm late is because I just came back from a record fair in Kids Grove. It's a really nice place, Kids Grove. If you haven't been there, I would recommend that you go and visit, not just for a record fair, but also just, as a tourist. The town hall where the record fair was held is really nice. The building is absolutely fantastic. And also, another reason why it's 8 o'clock is because today's guest is going to join us live from California, and it's just gone noon, 12 minutes after noon in California, and he is here now. And I'm really pleased that he's here. So, my dear friends, please welcome Mr. Stephen Hodges.
Hey,
Yay!
all right, here we are. Hello, everybody.
How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I called you Mr. Hodges before because I wasn't sure, but you
Oh,
you
I
prefer
might as well
Steve.
say, oh, that's my dad.
Yeah.
I'm Steven. No, we're both. Yeah, David and Steven. Yeah.
Yeah. How have you been since I saw you in Manchester at Gulliver's?
Um,
Yeah, you did the
I've
tour.
been sleeping a lot because ever since 1985, I've been going to Europe, and I just don't adjust. The people who say, "Oh, I just stay up the night before and then I'm fine." That never works for me. So I go on tour over there, and
Yeah.
I don't sleep very
Jet
much.
lag.
So I've slept a lot since I came home, and I'm good. I'm good now. But it took a
It's been
second.
it's been a month now, so I'm
Well,
sure you jet
I
lagged.
know, but I mean, you're on the road for 3 weeks and you hardly sleep for 3 weeks. It's like, oh
Yeah,
my God, it
yeah.
takes its toll.
Well, that gig was absolutely amazing. I'm going to ask you about the band, like MSSV, but
Sure.
I just want to say, give a massive shout out to Phil Hartley,
Oh,
because
yes.
yeah, brother
Phil
Phil.
saved the day. What a great man, too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if it wasn't for him and
Yes.
his promotion of MSSV, because you played in Liverpool at Arc
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah.
and I think he
His club.
co-owned. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. So he's been promoting it, and I thought, well, I couldn't make it to the Liverpool gig, and then I noticed that there's a Manchester gig, so I thought, well, I've got to make sure that I see it, and I'm glad that I did, because
Well, I mean, he we were having, we were running into some real problems about getting some drums to play on that tour. Our resources were kind of dwindling. We thought we had some drums, and then that fell through, and so Phil really came. He really helped in so many ways. Yeah,
so did he
yeah.
go with you for the whole tour?
No,
Was he
but he loaned us a drum set from the
for
from day
Liverpool?
one.
Oh, right. Oh,
Yeah,
brilliant.
so between between his generosity and then the generosity of my cymbal sponsor, Istanbul Agap, they basically cloned the cymbals that I use in America, and and we picked them up there at the Drum
Yeah,
Shack,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so it was like I was basically playing the same instruments that I play in America,
Yeah.
and it really, really was nice. Yeah,
Oh,
those two
brilliant.
things really, really put things together for us. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because you said yes on guesting on Astro Drummer, I'm really, really grateful about it. So I have been reading up about you because I must admit
Okay.
that's the first time I've actually heard of MSSV, and even Mike Watt. I didn't really I didn't really know who the players, so the
Right.
MSSV players. So
Yeah. I mean, if for yeah, I knew of Mike way
yeah,
back, but um, I'm a bit. I'm a bit older, so when Mike was getting popular with his band, his first band with D Boone and George Hurley, the Minutemen,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
I was already raising my two children, and uh, playing blues, and the punk rock thing was kind of like I was past that age to where I didn't need the punk rock, other than I agreed with the ethos of the idea of punk rock,
yeah, yeah.
but I didn't need to go hear all those bands. I was going to jazz, listening to Elvin Jones and Art Blakey, and I'd seen Jimi Hendrix at the Hollywood Bowl. I had seen the
Oh,
Doors at the Hollywood Bowl. So, I was a little bit past all of that, but I really have learned to appreciate,
yeah,
especially because Mike and I started in 1997. We played with Nels Klein and made Mike Watt's first punk rock opera, Contemplating the Engine Room, which was a big milestone for myself, as I think, as well as for Mike and
yeah.
Nels. Yeah, it was a big
Wow.
deal for him.
Yeah. Well, I've seen quite a lot of the things that the musicians that you played with,
Right.
and I was like, oh my god! I was saying to my husband that I don't think I could do this because it's just it's just like out of my league. But I was like, but he said
No.
no, that's okay. So yeah, I was actually really really nervous before when
Oh, my,
we
you got to
start.
remember, regardless of whatever the past players I've been able to play with, my motto is let's make the ladies dance. Make the girls
Yeah,
dance, and then the
yeah.
boys will follow. So you're in good hands.
Oh, thank you. Well, Aiden O'Rourke said that sound and picture great. Aiden, he's my husband, but he's also my tech support. So he's the one
Okay.
who deals with the technical side of.
Oh, hey, hey, hey.
But so anyway, so welcome to Ask the Drummer. Episode 176 is all about you, Stephen Hodges, and that's
Okay.
Stephen with the PH, so
Yeah,
not with the
yeah.
P.
Mom was fancy spelling.
Yeah. Um. So you're born and bred in California, right?
Long Beach, yes.
Long Beach.
Long Beach,
Um.
California.
Yeah, I had a look at your Discogs entry, and it give according to Discogs, your real name is Stephen Taylor Arvizu
Okay.
Hodges.
Well, I am, sort of, I was in on the tail end of the hippie era. And
Yeah.
so when I was married, my wife's um, last name was Arvizu. So
Right.
um, people were hyphenating. So I would be, and my middle name is Taylor. And then the thing of it about it is that Rain Dogs, the weights record,
Yeah.
they switched everything around. They got it all wrong. So they went, instead of Stephen Taylor Arvizu Hodges, they went Stephen Arvizu Taylor Hodges.
Oh,
And to this day, I'm still fixing this. And this happened in 1985 with Agfa, the people who pay residuals and what have you. It's like I finally got it fixed last week. But yeah,
oh,
so our Vizu, we've divorced ages ago, and everybody's fine. But there's no more Arvizu, other than I
oh, I
was
see.
lucky enough to be part of their family. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I thought maybe you were from that region. Because I had a look.
Oh, I
I
know, it's
googled
very
it.
exotic.
Yeah,
I'm very British, apparently. Yes, all in all, when you really spit in the tube and do the DNA. My daughter Kai
yeah, yeah.
hipped me to this. Yeah, just recently. Yeah,
Oh, right. Is this the what's it called? There's an online service where you just I think you send something and then they'll
yeah,
match you with all sorts of things and then they'll find out where
yeah.
you're from. So, yeah.
She
My
looked it up, and I thought maybe I was a little bit like Dutch or something, but mostly just a Brit, I guess. Basically, yeah.
All right, so can I just ask you, what was California like when you were growing up? or Long Beach?
Oh, oh, huh. Well, um, gosh, Long Beach has always been kind of a mix because we have our rich sections and we have our not so rich sections. So um, it's kind of known as a blue collar town with some upscale areas, but it's
Yeah,
got a lot of real down in the down to earth people for sure. Um, it's always been for me. It's always been a good town for music. Um, Luckily, in the schools, they still had music classes. I think they actually still do. So I got to go to music class every day, which was so, you know, that was just, it really saved my ass as far as the education system was concerned.
yeah.
So,
And then you mentioned that just like during the hippie era. So have were you always part of the music scene in Long Beach, or so like late?
yeah, I mean, it took until the mid 70s before I actually got to work a lot, but mostly I excelled in the schools. Like at first in junior high, I was a
Yeah,
timpanist in the orchestra, and that was really that really left its mark on me in a good way. Um, and then in high school, um, we got more involved with the big band, the jazz, and college, and so that I excelled at that, and that was encouraging. Um, Reading those charts and all the different time signatures and what have you, um, it was a great experience for sure.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm really glad that they still have that kind of program available. Um, yeah, and then when my first child was born, the daughter, um, somehow the universe said, "Okay, now you really need a job." And the most popular guy in town who worked all the time, Greg Carroll, um, gave me a shout, and so I started. You could work 5 nights a week at the same bar and do it for months on end. So you basically set up your drums and then just leave them there for a long time.
yeah, yeah,
So that that was really a big boost for me, um, because to be able, it's like you get to practice what your art, but you also get paid for it.
yeah,
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 and that kind of it's a turning point. It's a
yeah,
turning point, and I can look back and see I had gone to Berkeley College of Music in Boston, and I really wasn't happy there, so I came back after a year of studying there, and
yeah.
I uh, played drums at the Cal State Long Beach in their big band at the university up on the hill, and I actually quit that band and went on the road and made the director really mad. But as I look back at the events, I traveled, I played with Greg, and then I moved over and played with this guy, James Harmon, which we were playing 5 or 6 nights a week in the bars, but we would go up to LA and play open for X or the Blasters or Oingo Boingo or all these different bands.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And so, and that was what actually led me to meeting Tom Waits, is
Oh god.
because I played in this popular blues band that played bars every night of the week, but when we knew that we could go open for a certain group, we would take
Yeah.
that night off and go do that, and so and
Wow.
that was a big deal because they're starting to mic your drums in the bars. You don't necessarily mic the drums usually.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
is all this kind of ultra more professional performance situation. Excuse me. So, um, as I look back on what I chose to do and what I refused to do, it doesn't make sense in the moment exactly. It, but and you get past it all like I am now, and I can look back at it. I go, oh, that that
You
all
did.
makes sense. If I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have ended up meeting Tom Waits, and
Yeah,
that was
that's right. Yeah.
a
Yeah.
big deal for sure. And so,
Yeah.
um, yeah,
Well,
it's
the one I forgot I said to myself that I'm gonna look up. Is it timpani or is
yeah, timpani, yeah,
it's a percussion?
Tympani.
It's a percussion instrument. Is it?
It
Is it
they call it the second conductor. They're big giant copper bowls, basically.
right?
They're they're
Okay.
they only have one skin on the top, but they're like a big giant salad bowl, and
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah.
they have pedals so you can tune them. It has a pedal on the floor.
Yeah.
It's attached, and so you're able to change the pitch
Yeah.
by this mechanical business that's inside the drum. But yeah,
So
they boom 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 boom,
yeah.
all of that kind of thing plus
So from
more.
um, being a timpanist to
Yes.
a jazz drummer or a rock drummer,
Uh
or is it?
yeah, well, that was the thing about it. It's like, oh no, you're not a rock. No, you're not a drummer. You're a percussionist. So I got or like, no, you're not a rock drummer, you're a jazz drummer. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh my God. I can play just about any style of music, within reason. I mean, I don't go in for like the hard metal. I let other people deal with that kind of a sound. But yeah, I definitely threw a lot of uh, uh,
Like different
unless you
styles.
really looked at what I do, you might just pigeonhole me with this one thing. But yeah, I've been at it long enough that I spent like 20 years playing conga drums in the dance class,
Right.
for
Okay. Yeah.
accompanying
Yeah.
dancers. So
Yeah.
then that's just hand drums. But the timpanist, yeah, the timpanist is a big deal in the orchestra. When they play, they call it the second conductor, apparently, um,
It's
because
okay.
of the power that it exerts, and it comes in at key moments.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
brings all that uh, to another level because
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
power there. Yeah,
Yeah. So you obviously had lessons.
right.
You
I'm
don't have
I'm
all your
I'm not just self-taught. Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, which is fine. I mean, there are people who've never had lessons that are,
Yeah. Yeah.
the greatest. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've heard of
Well,
people being good and then taking lessons and getting less good because they were better off when they didn't know as
and
much.
then- another thing I would like to ask is, being from California, is it really true that the cutest girls are from California?
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't. I've been a lot of places, and there's been a lot of really pretty ladies. So I'm not gonna. I'm
I've been
pretty
to New
sure.
York, but
I'm
yeah, I've
pretty
never
sure
been.
pretty is universal. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
Let alone Thailand or
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Buenos
It's just that
Aires
song.
or Tokyo. I mean, come on.
No, that song. I mean, I know it's the Beach Boys, but it's the one with
Oh right.
The David Lee Roth song was all California Girls. I really
Oh
love
yeah.
it.
Well, it's a catchy lyric for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So are you from a musical family?
Um, Not really. My mother loved to play the piano some, Um, but and my dad uh,
Yeah.
wanted to play instruments, but he was from a very strict family, I guess. And
Nope.
back in his day, musicians were like one step above, bank robbers or something. So it was you. If you were a musician, you were kind of suspect.
Really?
Yeah, in a way, for certain people. Yeah, apparently. So he wanted to play the trombone, but they wouldn't let him.
Oh God, I didn't know that. I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
maybe some parents would probably say, find yourself a proper job, but not really.
Well,
So
yeah,
I
there's
think,
that part too. Yeah, yeah. But
well, you're
yeah, they loved music, and my mom loved to dance for sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like a lot of ladies,
So
really like to
so they
dance.
let you they let you become a musician.
Right, they were supportive. My mom said, "Well, when he plays his drums, it kind of sounds like music to me." And so, um, I guess I've always had luckily had kind of a melodic streak. So the drumming coming out of my bedroom apparently sounded musical to her. So that was a
Yeah.
little more than just bang bang boom boom, coming out of the room.
Yeah, making a lot of noise from.
But
Yeah,
yeah, it's definitely a challenge. When somebody takes up an instrument like that,
yeah,
it's not for the faint of heart because it does. You know, I mean, some people play really loud all the time. I don't do that.
no,
So
no, yeah,
so I can practice, to, especially when the children were young. It's just like you want to practice like the baby is sleeping in the next room, and that's actually paid off to get the dynamics.
yeah,
'Cause
yeah,
a lot of people can play loud, but can you play as well quietly at the same time, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
that could be really effective for sure.
Yeah. Well, I've got to say this because when you went on stage, and then the first um, m- piece of music that you did in Manchester, you
Hmm.
had this like chain
Oh, the
in your
chain, yeah,
you
right,
were swirling it on the, and I
right,
thought, wow, I've never seen anyone, I've never seen anyone do that before. I was,
right. No, the chain. It's that's the funny one too because you can beat your brains out playing the drums all night, but if you pull the chain out once, everybody wants to talk about the chain. And that it's just another piece of sort of found percussion instruments because
yeah.
there are a lot of things that if you hit it or shake it just right, it can sound really good. And so the chain ticks a lot of those boxes. And the thing about the chain is that it's kind of unpredictable as well. You can do your best to control it, but it's really got a mind of its own, because it's
Oh
going to
yeah.
go off in other directions. We would open up the set with the chain and then it would hook on something. And now here I am trying to play music, but I'm also trying to unhook the chain that it's stuck on something, so but
Yeah,
the chain is interesting because you have so much music where you're keeping time. You're trying to keep a real steady thing going on, especially as a drummer. But with the chain, as you like, let's say I just going to drape the chain over the side of the drum, and
yeah,
I'm going to hold on to it, but then just lower it. I can lower it quickly, or I can go click, 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 one link at a time, and
yeah,
then click, 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 click. You know, there's it's got musical attributes that are not common to most instruments. So yeah, it's got a own personality of its own for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Because when you did that, when you opened your set with
yeah.
that chain, I
No,
thought
they
this.
like the chain. We used to open it the tour prior. We
Yeah,
opened it where I would go on the downbeat, shoom, ba, ba, shoom. So we just used it as the first note, and just drop it on the snare drum, and
yeah.
then the snare drum has a mic on it, so the chain is getting mic'd. Yeah. So yeah, the chain is it's a it's an eye catching kind of versatile instrument. Yeah.
And it makes you really think that this is going to be different.
Right. You're
Different
into, yeah.
from,
Now,
yeah.
what are we into now? What's next? Right. Yeah. What the hell
um,
is going on?
yeah. I've also found out that you're known as a drummer's drummer.
Oh,
The, the only time that actually has been mentioned before is like when I ask guests about their drumming heroes, they always say John Bonham, and
oh yeah. Well,
so I
yeah.
say that John Bonham, he was a drummer's drummer, but
Yeah.
apparently you're also a drummer's drummer.
Oh
So,
well, that's nice.
yeah. So that's really good. So and also another thing that I found out is that this is new to me as well, because I think I mentioned before that I'm not really very technical when it comes to drumming or the instruments or the kit itself, but apparently you're known for a 32-inch bass drum.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
googled it. I had to look what's a 32. So I thought, what's the standard size of apparently it's only 22.
22 is kind of the average. Yeah.
But
Yeah. That's the most basic size of bass drum.
yeah,
Well, when I played in the blues band with James Harmon, Hollywood Fats, and Kid Ramos and Willie J. Campbell, um, we were miking the drums up in L.A. and I was playing a 22-inch bass drum, and the sound just wasn't working for me. I just didn't like the way it felt with the band, all in all. So I went to the local music store, and we
yeah.
went down in their basement to where they had the returns or stuff they weren't actually selling. And the only instrument that looked cool was this really large blue sparkle bass drum. It happened to be 32 inches in diameter and 16 inches deep. This kind of instrument would most likely be on what would be like a luggage stand at the back of the junior high school concert band, on a stand, and you would hit it with a mallet, not a marching. It's too big to march. It would break your back to march with this thing
Yeah,
stuck into
yeah.
your back. But as a concert instrument, but what what happened was is that we would play two sets at Madame Wong's West. And so the first set we played the regular bass drum. The second set we said we're going to go for it. We'll play the large bass drum. And all of a sudden, where there used to be noise and I couldn't hear the guitars as well or the voices as well, all of a sudden that area was clear. And then the bass drum sound was much lower. It's almost like a low hedge that went down to the ground. And all of a sudden, there was a window where the voices and the guitars were that was clear. I could hear them. And then we were also getting this new kind of a bass drum sound, which was appealing to me. So
Oh,
so that was it. And actually, since we were discussing looking back in time, when you look back at the recorded history of some of the work that I've done with Tom Waits or with John Hammond or with David Lynch, all of those we did use other bass drums, but the major amount of the work was done with the 32-inch bass drum.
Oh,
So
yeah.
in the studio and on the stage, and James liked it because the logo was gigantic because the bass drum head was big, so he could make his name really big on the front of the bass drum. So
Right.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So what? So what happened to it? Do you still have that 32 inch?
I've had two of them stolen. I have one. I still do have one, um,
Yeah.
and it's a what you call a marine pearl, mother of toilet seat. It's a white, sort of looks like
Oh,
yeah, looks like abalone, but
yeah.
white. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I don't carry around that large of a bass drum anymore. I do use it in the studio, but yeah, if somebody really asked for it, I would bring it. But it,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
it's a whole another trip to the van all its own, because it's large
It's
enough.
so
Yeah.
big. The one that you've got there behind you. Is that a 22?
The
Is,
one that's behind me is there's a 20, and then there's the green one's over here. That's a 24. Oh, I'm
oh,
covering the
okay.
one that's a 20. But
Yeah.
those drums back there that are stacked, that's a
Yeah.
24-inch bass drum. Yeah.
That looks brilliant because it looks like a cake as well.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
But, so what happened to the stolen? You never got it back. The bass drum.
I had a great van. It was a Toyota van, which I really loved. The problem is that they were really easy to steal. So I had the van was stole. Two different Toyota vans were stolen, and so I would end up getting the van back, but the instruments we never got back.
Oh no.
Yeah,
That's, I don't,
yeah.
to be honest, whenever I hear like bands posting on Facebook that their vans were stolen or something like that, it doesn't make sense to me. It's like, what would people do with them? Because these are like the tools of their trade, like the
Oh, I
musicians.
know, I know.
They
Yeah.
should be
No, I mean,
steal
the
things like that.
the kit that I played in America with mssv, my storage space was robbed a month ago,
Oh no!
and they stole that drum set. It's like it's
Gosh.
I mean, there's horror stories all over the place. I mean, Sonic Youth had their van stolen. This was years ago now, maybe 12, 15 years ago, but there's stories all over the map. Levon Helms, may
Yeah.
he rest in peace. He had this old looking Ludwig drum set. That one was stolen out of a van. So yeah, it's sometimes I think they're just stealing the van and the instruments. I don't know where they go. I don't know whether they try to sell them. If they're too distinctive, they
Yeah,
could
people will. Yeah, people
they
will
could get
know.
caught, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, you have to be careful. Not make sure that they're safe and secure wherever they
Yeah.
are.
No, I mean I don't really don't leave instruments in the van anymore
Yeah, yeah,
overnight and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. Is it true though? Because I know when you did the UK and Ireland tour, you did how many nights? I think it's about
We did
14,
about 17.
17 nights.
Mhm.
But is it true though that sometimes you do like over 50 nights in a row?
In America, yeah, we before we came to the UK, we we there was a gap, about a 2 week gap that we were home. And prior to that gap, we had done 53 dates in a row in
Oh,
America. Yeah.
and you didn't bring your drum kit with you. It's always the house kit, or do
No,
you?
no, we bring our own. Yeah. House
And
kit it would be very, that wouldn't work
it's yeah, yeah,
because they're always different. And the music, the drums are very specific to the sound of the music. So
yeah.
when you get there and find out that the drums are tuned in the, they're never going to sound the way you need them to sound for the music. It would be just too much of a compromise. So
Yeah.
we're lucky enough that we get to put our instruments in the van and bring them along. Yeah.
What about when you came over to the UK? Because, like you mentioned before, that Phil had to lend you
Phil
the
lent, and he lent almost a twin to my drums. It was
oh,
crazy how
okay.
it was almost, well, the sizes were exactly the same, the size of
Oh,
all of the drums, and
yeah.
just instead of being a wood finish, it was a red sparkle. But yeah, we really lucked out. Phil, it was
Oh, that's
it
good.
was
Okay.
really something. Yeah.
And that's what you use for the whole tour, for the
Yes.
whole 17
Yes.
nights. And is it also true, because I've read up about this, it also true that you don't stay at hotels, you just go to whoever wants to so, like, until
Well,
the night?
in the UK, we did stay at one friend's home, but in America, we have kind of a network of people who have been lodging the band for
Yeah.
a long time. So that is true. Every once in a while, we have an Airbnb in America, but in general, if we're playing 53 gigs, chances are we've stayed at least 50 people's homes,
Wow.
um, because there's not a whole lot of money to be made playing in these small clubs.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so if we can cut down the price of lodging, because gas is expensive already to
Yeah.
get to the gigs, but lodging would like kind of rob any extra profits. So the fact that people are willing, to let us have a sleep at their place, and oftentimes they want to get up and make breakfast and what have you. So it's kind
Yeah.
of community, it's kind of social, it's kind of people reaching out, and uh, we get to spend time with different people. Yeah.
Yeah. For fans, I'm sure it's like fantastic. It's like an honor to have the band staying at their houses.
Well,
So,
I
but
guess, yeah, yeah.
yeah, but I suppose because I don't really know much about what happens during a tour, but I thought it's all being shouldered up by the promoter or the people, so like asking you to play at their venues. So it doesn't work like that. You've got to uh,
They can
pay.
only they can only go so far because the margins of the money. I think they give some money for the evening meal, a buyout they call it.
Oh, I see. Okay,
But
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
and I think maybe one or two clubs where maybe money wasn't an issue, they put us up in a hotel, but
yeah.
that's not the norm, because
Okay,
it's sort of like nobody's making a whole bunch of money on this kind of situation. But
yeah,
if you get enough people in the room, the club owners are happy. That, yeah, okay, we're doing all right. We're doing
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
But it
So
isn't. It isn't like buckets and buckets of money are flowing. The fact that you're selling merch and what have you is a big bonus to the amount of money
okay,
you can make, uh,
yeah, yeah.
of people paying to come in through the door. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in the past, because with the internet and everything, you see sometimes you see that in the past they had this bands had this rider thing.
A
That
rider, yeah, of course,
so
yes.
does it still happen now that you can ask for?
Yeah, I mean, look, you don't ask for the moon, if you're, you know, I mean, usually we ask for some fruits or fruit and vegetable or something, basically,
Okay,
and
yeah,
we'd say keep the chips away, because people will eat them, and we know that it's not the healthiest thing to be eating, especially when you're on the road sitting a lot and stuff. But no, I mean, we usually just ask for some sparkling water and a couple of healthy pieces. But yeah, it's so funny now that the internet has been around for so long and what have you. This whole thing of the rider, and everybody and their brother knows that bands have like J Lo wants certain kind of sofas, or whatever. It's like, oh, you got to be
yeah,
kidding me! Come on, are you kidding
yeah,
me? So yeah,
yeah.
we're we're at the bottom level of that kind of thing. I mean,
I see. Or sometimes like certain color M&Ms that only
oh right, yeah.
once or something.
Well, they said they do that to see if they were even reading the rider. But yeah,
Yeah, well, I'm gonna ask you about MSSV because I know you've done so many, but I wanted to ask you first about MSSV before I ask you about the other things that you've done before MSSV.
sure.
So it means main steam stop valve, and sorry about that. We
No,
live on the road, so you can see that you can hear that thing most of the time. So and you were formed. The band was formed in 2020 or 29. No, sorry, 2019.
yeah, that seems about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, well, Mike Watt is a brilliant man, and he's brilliant at a lot of things. And part of his past is that he grew up in San Pedro in the Navy housing for the
Oh,
chiefs. They were he and all of his friends were the sons of the Navy chiefs. It's the
oh,
highest non-commissioned officer in the Navy. So they basically are the ones that run the Navy on all in all. Anyway, Mike Watt has a real love for the Navy and terminologies in the Navy. And uh, there's a book called The Sand Pebbles. There was a movie with Steve McQueen.
oh,
Um, I won't go into the big story about all of that, but basically, Mike uses Navy terminology to be accurate at times. Like when we're in the car, in the van, he calls it the boat, you know, uh, starboard and port, it means right and left, and all of these, nautical terms. Okay, but the genius, but Watt is kind of a promotional genius, because who gives a crap about main steam stop valve? It's just like way too much. But think about it. We don't go by that. We go by four letters,
yeah,
MSSV. That's simple and that's easy. You can put it on the bass drum, with a stencil. You
yeah,
know, Nobody gives a crap about the stop valve. That's just something in the movie and in the book, the Sand Pebbles. And it's interesting, but it's sort of like falls to the side, because mainly it's some simple. It's four letters, MSSV. If you want to go further with it, you can look it up and see that it means main steam stop valve. But it's just real easy to remember, as far as I'm concerned. When I heard it, I'm going, "That's genius. That totally makes sense." It's like, it's like, what, the elongated eggplant. And like this, like, we named our band the elongated eggplant. I mean, what the hell is that? So names are just all over the map. So just something really, really simple, almost like high tech, MSSV, some sort of secret formula or some shit. I don't know, but it's just basically easy to remember, I think.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
think that's part of Watt's genius, is he he kind of puts this stuff together and then shares it with us. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually thought it's your names, but then there's two mics and then one
Right.
Steven. I
Well,
What?
yeah. The thing about it is we usually just say Watt because he's, Watt. Look, he's for people of a certain age. I'm like, he's like Paul McCartney or something. For the earlier people, he's
Yeah,
that famous. The love for Mike Watt is extremely deep,
yeah,
and you
yeah,
see how people want to talk to him after shows, and and also he's very good. He's always been really good at networking and getting along with people and reaching out with the email. And he studied computer science in 1978 before anybody even knew there was such a thing as email. So he's just brilliant, and he's ahead of the curve a lot in a lot of respects. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I remember when after your gig in Manchester, Mark Riley was there,
Hmm.
the DJ.
Oh, right. Yeah, we had done his show. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, and I think he also wanted to speak to Mike Watt.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, Mike is he's he can talk. He can, there's hardly any subject he doesn't seem to have a whole bunch of facts about.
Yeah.
We couldn't be more different, the two of us.
Well, the way he played bass, it's unbelievable. I mean, I've never seen anyone play bass like that
No,
before.
I knew. Well, he's yeah, he's no, really. I mean, um, I don't. I've never played in a band that played as loud or as quietly as MSSV. I've
Yeah,
played with a lot of dynamics over the years, but this is the loudest and the quietest
right.
band I've ever played with. So yeah, when Mike gets loud, he's like Robin Hood pulling on those strings. He really makes the sound jump out, but he also plays so quietly sometimes I can barely hear him, and I'm already playing almost so quietly I can barely hear myself.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's extremes. That goes to the extremes for sure.
yeah.
Yes.
So I've read that there was another drummer before you when they formed MSSP. Is that correct? Or
Well, not exactly. It it's that they appreciate this drummer named Jim Kiltner, and
okay,
that was never really a band, and the name MSSV wasn't even around yet.
okay, yeah,
But they had done some recording with Jim at a local studio, Big Ego, Chris Schlarb studio in Long Beach, um, with Jim Keltner, who's like played with John Lennon, played with George Harrison, played with Bob Dylan. There's hardly anybody that Jim Keltner hasn't played with. So he's a fine, fine drummer.
yeah,
Um, but
yeah,
he was never really involved with MSSV, which is a band. Yeah,
yeah,
but
yeah,
he has done sessions with both of the mics
yeah, yeah.
when they pay him to come down and play. Yeah,
And then when you joined them, that's when MSSV started.
basically when we made a band that was
Yeah,
touring. Yes, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Because well, you were formed in 2019. I think you planned on going on tour in 2020, but then of course COVID happened, so you had to
A
sort
lot of
of.
stuff got started and then had to be abandoned. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It was strange times, those one. I mean,
yeah,
I'm glad that we're back to normal now. But
yeah.
so now that the tour is over, are you gonna be doing more, or
You
is
know,
that
it usually seems to take uh, about a year and a half before anything else starts to be put together. Um, so I'm not sure right now. I think everybody's in recovery and also doing the other things that they do because both mics keep busy with a lot of projects for sure. Yeah,
okay?
they do.
Yeah, because you've just released an album this year called On and On. And
Hmm.
that's why you were touring, because you wanted to tour the album, right?
Right.
Yeah.
What we do is we tour the album, and then we also play. We do about half and half. We half of the album and then half new songs, because the songs
Oh, for the next album.
for the next album that gets recorded
Oh,
at the end of the tour, because the songs change so much,
oh,
because each guy has so much input as we play the songs at night after night. We realize that, oh, well, this drum beat isn't quite the right drum beat. Let's try something else. Let's do this. Let's do that. So there's
oh,
a lot of things are getting worked and worked out and adjusted. Um,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, and it really pays off. Uh, a lot of bands do. They figure out how to make their record, and they make the record, and then they tour the record. But with these guys, that would drive them crazy, because they would make a record and then not like the record, because once you play the songs, you discover things that you didn't realize until
yeah,
you play them over and over. And so a lot of things got changed so much, so drastically, like drum parts where might be playing throughout the whole song turns out to be tap 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 tap, and that's it,
yeah, yeah.
as opposed to something that just never stops. A lot of gaps, a lot of a lot of little spaces, a lot of or something that was played with the drumsticks. Now it's played with the very tips of the brushes. It's almost inaudible, but it turns out that's the way the song sounds the best. But you don't find that out until you. It's kind of like stones
Hi.
in a stream. The water rushes over them, and they tumble long enough that they get smooth. But it takes a while for them to smooth out. Same with the music. It takes some repetition, and then the minds of these players, Mike and Watt,
Yeah.
they like, oh, because Watt's over there playing, but he's thinking at the same time. He's like multitasking. They both are, but
Yeah.
so they're
What
very good
about
at that kind of thing. Yeah,
set list though? Say the 53 nights that you did.
yeah. But
The
there's
set list changed.
a this well, the set list pretty much stays the same. We made a couple of adjustments because they didn't like the order, but once that gets set, it's done. Um,
Okay.
that's the
Yeah.
one thing that does pretty much stay the same. Um, I like a set list. They don't like me to look at a set list. They because their memories are better than mine, so they remember the set list more quickly than I do, and so I like my notes sometimes, but they think I'm better off without them. So I just you know I get tired of getting yelled at, so I just say, okay, no set list.
Because I
But
don't know if you remember. Yeah, I don't know if you remember, but after you gig, I did ask, "Is there a set list?" And then
well,
you said,
usually
"No."
okay. Now, okay, in America, Baguetta, he made copies, and we would get a set list every night because people would ask for them
Yeah,
at the end of
yeah.
the set, and then we would give them. But then he just screwed it. No, no set list. I had my own. They made me get rid of it.
No, it's. I mean, I've seen a lot of like music gigs. I've been to lots of gigs and musicians and bands, and they always have set lists because because
Oh, I know. I mean, right. It makes total sense, but but
unless
you
it's
got to consider who you're dealing with here.
yeah, unless it's a solo one. If it's solo, then sometimes you don't really expect
Right.
a set list because they can just change it, whatever. So it's more or less the same. set for all the gigs,
Yes.
but then the way you play it can be different. Is that
Yeah, I mean, some nights they'll play something faster, some nights they'll play it slower. Um, yeah, there's little
yeah?
subtleties for sure. Yeah.
And then I mean, I'm sorry because I'm not really, I'm not very musical. I don't know all these things. But how do you remember, like for the new album that you're going to make? Because you're playing it during the set or during the tour. So if you like something that's, oh, this is how it should be. So do you take notes or do you just remember it and then, okay, when you go to the studio to record it, this is how it's supposed.
Right, right. Um, you make mental notes. You might write something down, um, but after you repeat it enough, um,
It
you
just
do
plays.
you do finally remember, and they remember more quickly than I do. That's why I like my lists, but they think I use it as a crutch, and so. Um, I got used to it not having it, but every once in a while they would have to go next name
What's
of the next song because they have me look. I'm looking like deer in the headlights. What's the next song?
because another thing is, sorry, it's the drummer who starts the song, right? Because most of the time
Not
it's not what we
necessarily.
want to do.
Yeah, yeah, no, not in this band.
No, in the
No,
okay,
not a lot of times, yeah, groups will rely on the drummer to count things off, but
yeah, yeah,
not with this group. Variety of ways that songs get started. A lot of times, Baguetta will start
okay,
with
yeah,
some rhythm. Yeah.
wow. so, you're gonna be recording soon for the new album.
No, we did that. We do that.
Oh, you've done it already.
Yeah, you do it on. It's kind of like the last day of the tour. So we come home. After the American tour,
Yeah, yeah.
we came home and we played May 3rd at Zebulon, which is we usually try to end at Zebulon, which is a really nice club in LA.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
On May 4th, the next day, we go in and record the record.
Wow. So
Yeah.
this is after On and On, or is this the on? This is the On and On
Well, this is
album.
how we did On and On. We did it after the tour that was
So,
a
yeah,
year and a half prior to that. Yeah.
yeah.
So we're basically throughout the tour we're preparing the material to record it on the day after the last show of the tour.
Wow.
And
Incredible.
that's how it gets that's how it gets really adjusted and time tested, like that stone, in the stream getting
Yeah,
smoothed
yeah,
out.
yeah.
It really, really does get dealt with severely throughout the whole, however long the tour is. Yeah.
Wow. Do you get to see places? Say when you did the UK and Ireland tour, did you manage to see some of the sites, or maybe?
We have, we have little windows, like we'll load in the late afternoon, do a sound check, and then we have a window of a few little hours where we might walk around or go to the castle or whatever is around. um, and sometimes in the morning before we have to get in the van to go, we certain days we have to leave early because we got a long way to go, but a lot of times we don't leave until 11 a.m. So if you get up at 8 or 9, you
Yeah.
got a couple hours to find the coffee shop or look around or go for a run or whatever. So but it's pretty much go go go, but there is a certain amount of hurry up and then wait And so, yeah, in the waiting, you sometimes have time to go look at some, what's
Yeah.
around. Yeah.
So you still get to see, because I remember, I think it's, I can't remember his name. I think it's Henry, who owns the Shoegaze Cafe in Manchester.
Oh, that was really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, he was at the gig because I saw him afterwards,
Yeah.
and then I think you went to the Shoegaze
We
Cafe.
went there, Phil, and also Miss Hiyori. We all went there. Um, we actually walked by it
Yeah,
using a GPS, and then Phil said, "No, no, turn around." And so then we were like 4 or 5 doors away. It was just a little hole in the wall. But yeah, Henry was really cool, and
yeah,
it was so funny because he was putting on some David Lynch music because he spins vinyl.
yeah. That's right. Yeah,
And
yeah,
so,
yeah.
we came in and said hello, and he we introduced ourselves, and then he said, "Well, are you the guy on Rain Dogs? Blah blah blah. Tom Waits and all of this." And so it's like, oh my goodness. So yeah, he's a buddy now. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
was
that place. I also a friend took me there, and the
okay.
one thing that I thought was amazing is that you can have unlimited amount of coffee. It's like he'll give you like what do you call it? This the one that they give you a Chinese fortune cookie. They'll
Oh
give you
yeah, no, I have my
one.
fortune up on the wall now from that.
Oh,
Yeah, no, it was so funny because there was just a 3 or 4 people really in the
yeah,
place at the time,
yeah, yeah.
and one of the guys, he was like a fashion designer or something. He looked like he stepped out of a Peter Max Sergeant Pepper's
Oh, it's,
album cover. The way he was dressed and his hair and everything, really nice. Um, I really regret not having taken his picture because he really had like bell bottom. He had like a tie and this really interesting coat. The way his hair. I mean, he really looked like.
it's from a different
Well, he
different
really
era.
looked. Yeah, he looked like he was right out. Peter Max was the artist at the time,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Beatles, and they utilized his look quite a bit. And this guy was really making that happen. Actually, I'm gonna ask Henry about that guy because he
yeah.
might remember the
Regular.
guy's name.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm probably a regular there at that cafe.
yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, because it is so good there. You've got £2, just give it £2. You can stay there for as long as you want. Listen to some really wonderful music, and then
I
just drink
know,
what
I know.
you
It's almost like a throwback of a
want.
of a type of a club. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and you can talk to him about music as well. So it's really
Oh
cool.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
he's an interesting man.
Yeah. Well, Aiden said that that's when you talked about the pebble that's getting when the way you do the music. You
Sure.
said that that's really interesting how the music is honed during the tour before recording. So
Yeah. No, it
true.
it it major changes happen. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
just so drastically sometimes. Um, you wouldn't really even recognize the material the way things get changed around, but for the better, for the better. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
Mike Watt has been at composing for a lot of for like 40, 50 years now, so
Wow.
he's
Wow.
and he was always brilliant anyway, but to put that mind of his into action, you have some really smart people working on this material. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
I
Well,
just have to kind of deal with it because it seems like the drum parts are the things that end up getting changed the most from the demos.
see.
But I
Well,
mean, Mike Baguetta is not a drummer, and he lays down something that works, but he creates a bass part for Watt, and
yeah.
Watt can adjust those parts, and he does, but he more or less plays because that's Baguetta is a, he's not a bass player, but he plays stringed instruments. Drums are not his thing.
No, no,
So
yeah.
so he puts down something interesting, but as time goes on, it can get really severely adjusted in a good way. In a good way.
Yeah.
It's a
So,
pain in the ass for me sometimes because I'm the one who has to keep changing, but in the long run, I think we all win. Yeah. Yeah.
so the process is you're the one who's doing all the drum parts, or I don't know, is it writing all the drum parts or
Well, I'm
doing all the drum parts?
Mike Baguetta is the composer.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's the one creating the drum parts initially. Okay.
Oh, okay. All
So
right. Yeah.
he creates these demo tapes and he transfers them to Watt and myself, and we learn the material from where that is. But that's just a starting place, okay? Because like I've been saying, things are going to change.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
So you got to
and
have
like
your
I
input
said, the bass parts don't change as much as the drum parts because he's more adept at playing bass than he is at drums,
drums.
Baguetta. But
Yeah,
yeah, so yeah, but
yeah.
as and for me, I'm just trying to get the first parts that he's written down, and then they keep wanting to change them. So it's just like, okay, what are we going to do today? How are we going to change things today?
'Cause you're a music director, a composer yourself.
I
Because
do
I also
that.
found out that there's I couldn't actually find any more information about it, but there's Exit the King, and
Oh
I
my
didn't
goodness,
Google
yeah,
it.
that was
And
amazing. Yeah,
so you're the music director and composer for that. Is
I
it like a
was. Yeah,
play? Is it a play or a film?
Eugene Eugene Ionesco. I believe he is Russian, and
Right.
he was kind of famous for the theater of the absurd, and he was famous in the 60s apparently. And so he's the writer of Exit the King. And so that that was with the actor John Riley, some
Mm-hmm.
John C. Riley. He's been in some really famous movies. um,
Yeah.
he was sort of like the biggest name of this production that we did. Um, but I did it with my friend John Irvin. May he rest in peace. He's a multi instrumentalist, played trombone and saxophone and flute and drums and what have you. But
Yeah.
we got to do the music for this. We That was really a great experience. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know why this is it like I can't find it on YouTube either. Is it on YouTube or is it just a one off?
I think it was too early for that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It was Tim Robbins' theater called the Actors Gang, and a lot of
Oh,
those theaters are little teeny places, but this was actually a theater. It was up in
oh,
Hollywood, and we
yeah.
we got we got to set up in the balcony, so we look down and play the music down to the stage area. Uh, it was kind of well, it was also a stage in the it was like a flat area, but then the seats were like it was like in a half round.
Okay, and it was
Okay,
never recorded. There was no
I
recording of
don't
X.
think so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, we would play some introduction music, some sort of Salvation Army kind of hymns and things in the lobby when people would come in, and then we would play some sort of droney kind of music while they were getting seated, and then during
Oh, right.
intermission. But
Yeah.
during the play itself, we had composed very specific bits, depending, working with the actor and the director,
Yeah.
actors and the director, and what have you. Yeah.
Wow. But the one that's recorded actually is the your um, contribution to David Lynch's Twin Peaks Fire
Right.
Walk. So again, it says that you're also an actor because you played on the show as a. Is
Okay,
that
so
because I did also try to look for it on YouTube that maybe there's a clip where you're playing for
right.
that one. So
If you see the movie in the bar scene, you mostly see my friend David Jaricki, the guitarist. We're kind of in shadow, but basically what happened was is that we went to the studio on Monday
yeah,
and we recorded The Pink Room and Blue Frank. The Pink Room is the famous one. Blue
yeah.
Frank was a B section that was used a little bit later in the film, but the Pink Room apparently was a coffee house favorite, apparently with the hipsters for a while. It's a very groovy kind of got the stripper beat thing going, boom, 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 cha, 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 you know. But
Yeah.
anyway, um, so we recorded this cool music on Monday, and then on Tuesday and Wednesday we all were on set. So we got in costume and we basically acted like we were playing the music that we had recorded on Monday
Oh wow.
on the set. Yes, and it was wild because it was the most sexual, erotic scene of the whole movie. A woman had to strip naked every time we did a take. She was on stage with us. Then there was simulated sex acts going on
Okay.
underneath the tables. There were there were lots of pretty girls in scant lacy undergarments and what have you, that actually didn't make the film, but I think David Lynch just wanted a lot of pretty girls around. But but it was very surreal, because we made this music that we really liked, and then they're playing it through these speakers really loud, and then David Lynch keeps going, more smoke in the air, to make the lights, the diffusion of the lighting and what have you. And people are naked, and we're just acting like we're playing. It was just
Wow.
otherworldly. So we
Yeah.
did it on Tuesday, and then we go back on Wednesday, and it's the same exact thing. It's like, oh my god, this is so crazy. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was quite an experience. Yeah.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are into that film, but I never really got into it though. But I did listen today. When I got back home, I did listen to that The Pink Room,
Yeah.
and yeah, like
Yeah.
you said, it is really so like
It's pretty
groove.
cool. Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of you find on YouTube, there's a lot of drummers trying to copy it, trying to sort of like
Oh,
do the same thing. So I
that's
thought, oh,
another one where we use that really large bass drum.
yeah, all right.
Yeah. And actually, that was before the first theft. So that was the Blue Sparkle drum.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay. Oh, it's that's amazing. That's when I saw it, and it's like, oh my god. I mean, because I know that a lot of people without like thinking, David Lynch and Twin Peaks is like, and you're talking to the drummer of the one that did the
Well,
Pink Room.
it was just such a great thing. David Lynch was like it was like he's the fifth Beatle. He was just we ended up working. You have to work kind of fast, and so without him there helping to guide us to some degree,
Yeah,
we wouldn't be nearly as effective. So um, so thank goodness, and I mean, then that's obviously part of the magic of being able to work with a man like David Lynch as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, it was a powerful experience, and
yeah, yeah,
he passed away, and you always think that possibly you'll get more time with somebody, but you don't always get that. Yeah. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. Again, Aiden said that he studied Eugene Ionesco's plays in French at university.
Okay. Uh huh.
But yeah. Um, you mentioned, I know it's over an hour now, but you mentioned Tom Waits because
Sure.
again, I know the name and I have listened to some of his music, but again, it's not for me. But I know that Rain Dogs and Swordfish Trombone,
Right.
whenever, because I work at a record shop in Manchester, so whenever we get a copy of those, it's always like, people buy it, or
Right.
it's one of
Yeah.
those classic things that it must have in their collection or something.
Well,
So,
it is interesting that the timing of our meeting with Waits and Kathleen, his wife, Kathleen Brennan,
yeah,
um, because he was definitely set to start a whole new chapter of his career because he had previously been making records with like a jazz trio, a
mhm,
piano, stand up bass, and the jazz drums with the ride cymbal and the brushes and, you know, that kind of a sound.
yeah,
But once, but Swordfish Trombones was like his departure from that sound. So you won't find any drummers always play a cymbal, you know,
yeah, yeah,
no cymbals, none in that music, no cymbals at all. So he was changing things around. He'd never had a marimba, and he has a marimba in that music. You know, he has metal bits that he's playing. You know, so there was this was like a really, you know, he disembarked from his old sound and he started a whole new chapter. And
yeah,
just like you say, that sounds very David Lynchian, this music. Well, there's a Tom Waits, there's a Waitsian sound that basically we got started back in 1982, I believe, with Swordfish Trombones. Yeah. And then we carried on with Rain Dogs and
yeah, yeah,
things, you know, other things past that. Mule Variations, we got a Grammy for one of the songs and
yeah, yeah.
Variations. But yeah, um,
When you met him though, you were in a jazz band or
no, that's what's the blues thing with
the
James
blues band?
Harden. Yeah. hmm
Yeah. Because when you said that he's trying to get away from the jazz, so
Yeah.
influence thing, but then he met you and you're doing a blues, in a blues band,
And
yeah,
then his music isn't exactly blues, but it's got a real blues element to it for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, going back to MSSV, I mean, the first thing I asked Phil after the gig is because your sound is so different. I did ask Phil, what would you say the genre is? And then he said they call it post genre. The genre is post
That's what
genre.
Baguetta calls it. Yeah.
And are you is MSSB the only band who's on the post genre, or
I
the
think
other?
we all are. You know, here, look. If you go back before internet, even before CDs, if you
Yeah,
just go back a ways, the styles of music were more specific. Your jazz was more like your country was, you know, but once CDs and then once the internet came around,
yeah.
everybody can listen to everything, right? Think
Oh yeah,
about it.
yeah,
You don't have to buy the records anymore. You
yeah.
don't, you
That's
know,
true. Yeah,
so what it was, cross pollination or what it, you know, mixing and blending, that's a way of life. I mean, that's how music has progressed.
yeah,
So just
yeah.
because somebody's into punk rock doesn't mean that they don't listen to John Coltrane, which could be called punk jazz because they were like crazy, and they were the same thing as punk rock. They just played a different style, right? and then they have these country groups that get a rock sound, or they blend
Yeah.
all these other things, because times evolve and change. So when you get a band like MSSV, where they might be famous for their punk rock thing, but then you get somebody like me who's played in gospel choirs and large symphony orchestras and 20 horn big bands and you know dance classes
Yeah.
playing. It's like things evolve, things change. So everybody is kind of a blend of a bunch of
All
stuff
these, yeah,
usually,
yeah. All these
unless
different
you're very specific, like, oh, we only play hard rock, or we only play bluegrass, traditional bluegrass or whatever. But
yeah,
even bluegrass players, I mean, look, there's snobs, or I call them Nazis, but there's snobs in every style of music
that
who
is
like,
true.
oh, this is not, those guys are not, because they're not pure like me or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Things are not pure anymore. It's all been blended. Look at how many different colors of people, children, these beautiful children, my own children. One came out medium dark because my ex was Mexican, and then one came out medium. Same with my grandchildren. One's a little bit darker, one's a little bit lighter, but they're both a blend. They're
yeah,
not white, and they're not Mexican either. They're like a beautiful mix.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
mean, it's like, look, cat's out of the bag. Things are blended. Get over it, man. Call it your mammy. It doesn't matter what they always hate trying to call music something. Back in the day, they said the writers named it jazz, apparently, or something. It's like the players probably didn't even bother to name what the music was. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah.
post genre, okay, whatever. I don't know
Post genre.
whatever that means, but it just means that people have listened to a lot of music by this point.
Yeah,
And
yeah. It's
it's so much
definitely
easier. It
different.
doesn't. Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't mean that you have to own the albums anymore to hear the stuff. You
yeah,
can peek at it even for free on YouTube. Just about any music is on YouTube, let alone Apple Music or Spotify or what have you.
yeah. But don't
So
you
I
think
I pay I pay Apple a monthly fee of ten
yeah,
or $12, and I can listen to anything that's recorded. So people's listening abilities have really changed,
yeah, yeah.
right? Yeah.
As a musician, though, do you think it's better that anyone can get like easy access to your music? They don't even have to pay for it, or they don't even have to buy your record or things.
No, there's something intrinsically wrong about the way it's set up. And not that it was right before, but to to be able to have these services but not pay the musicians
Oh yeah,
or what
yeah,
have you, is that's just not right, and
yeah.
it's so convenient. I pay my $14 a month, but I don't know if the artists are getting paid, you
Yeah.
know so it's like, to me, it's just a really unfortunate situation that you know you go to the grocery store, and if you walk out without paying, they'll they'll send somebody after you. You go to the jewelry store, the same thing will happen. But if you go to certain, especially in the earlier days, you can listen to somebody's music, and nobody can stop you.
Yeah, yeah,
You can steal it, but somehow that just doesn't, people just sort of shrug their shoulders and move on. So I don't know if it'll ever get fixed. but yeah, it's I think the idea that a musician can circumvent the traditional um, industry that
Mm,
used to govern who got listened to. You can become popular just by putting your own music out on YouTube. I think that to some degree is beneficial for sure to the artist, but the whole thing about getting paid for it and getting paid for your music, I think people are still stealing from the artist. Yeah, and
yeah,
that obviously is like not every career that you can go down has an element of robbery in mixed into it. But as a musician, somehow we're just supposed to just grin and bear it. Yeah.
fans should always just buy, when they go and see you, they should buy merch and
Well,
directly
they
from the
do. God
fans.
bless them. They do. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've worked with so many people. I mean, we'll be here until midnight if I ask you about all these wonderful musicians that you've worked with, like Mavis Staples, Jonathan Richmond, Chuck Berry, and Smashing Pumpkins. That's why I wore
Yeah.
this t-shirt, because Smashing
Oh
Pumpkins.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Is there any musician or a band that you still want to sort of like you're hoping that you will collaborate with or work with?
Oh my goodness.
Or you've worked with basically most of the people that you wanted to work with already.
Gosh. Well, Miles Davis is not with us anymore.
Oh
I would
yeah,
love to even just be in the room with Miles Davis, but
yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, I had a bass player friend who I did a session for Valerie June, her new record. Um, the bass player played with Sting, and for some reason, I thought it would be fun to play with Sting, but um, I don't know if that'll ever happen.
Oh right. Oh wow.
And I'm probably going to get some shit from some people for mentioning the name Sting. But I also, my friend who played on Rain Dogs, Mark Rebo, you know, he would be fun to play with as well, for sure.
Oh right. So you still, you still want to play with other musicians and
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like the drug of choice, basically.
yeah.
And we play in the bars, and it isn't that we're making a bunch of money, but it's enough that it pays the gas and buys some groceries, but it brings players together, and then we get to make music together, and that is really a special thing. And uh, the fact that you're in public, um, like this one place we play in San Clemente where you have to play really quietly because the room is small, but that
Oh,
turns out to be especially advantageous to the musicians because playing quietly is actually more powerful than
then oh, you did just
because
really banging
you
it.
just, yeah, you just like kind of float it out there, and the people are like, oh, this is nice. So
Yeah,
yeah, you really, it's I don't know, there's always something to be learned um, by getting together and going through this process of setting up and playing music together. But it's 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 spiritual. It's hearts combining to be part of a bigger picture. Yeah. So
yeah,
yeah, it's um,
Y-
it's why we do this. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna say that one thing I've noticed when I was at the gig. I mean, the audience, they were very attentive. They were really listening.
Yeah, yeah.
Most of the time, you go to a gig and you hear a lot of people sort of like around you, just talking and
No,
not.
I know, I know. And we've had situations where people, even when we spoke to them, they still carried on their conversations in the front row, actually. That usually had to do with some liquor, actually, some
Yeah, that's
drinking.
true.
But you're right. In general, um, we try actually trying to, yeah, we're trying to demand that people would be quiet because there's plenty of really quiet bits there,
Yeah,
and actually in 98% of the situations, people were always attentive and quiet
yeah, yeah,
when you hit them with so much volume and then you hit them with so much quietness. It kind of like enlivens their senses because first off they're practically being pushed back by the volume, and then all of a sudden there's no volume at all, and then you're leaning forward. You kind of provoke the idea that, oh, they want us to listen.
yeah, yeah,
And honestly, God bless them. I mean, like I said, 99% of the people are there because they like the music.
yeah,
Well, they're already going to be quiet. It's just the people who don't know anything about the band, or they're having a drink and they're thinking they're in the bar, and so they can just yap it away. But the truth of the matter is that no, you're at a concert now. Things are supposed to be different. And so certain clubs are a little bit rowdier than others. Certain clubs, there's never any talking, because people that go there know this is a music club. You keep your talking down while the music is playing, because you don't want to wreck the experience for the
yeah,
person sitting next to you or the people here, what have you. It's like, no,
yeah,
this is to be listened to. This isn't just in a bar and we're having music, but it's mainly a sideshow thing. I
yeah,
get it. I get it. I understand how people can see that as a thing. We don't always expect them not to talk when we play in bars, but when you bring in a group that's making records and they're doing, kind of serious music in a way,
yeah,
they get really, like Baguetta and Watt, they get really serious about being, and then even once in a while they'll make a comment, but then that's always not fruitful either. So
yeah.
what we would do if people kept talking is that we would get even quieter,
Quiet, quiet, and
quieter
then
and quieter and
yeah,
quieter, and we might look in their direction, but then people around them start talking to them like, hey, give us a break, please. We're trying to listen to this music.
yeah,
So yeah, but it's, we get it. Whenever there's liquor involved, there's a chance that people are going to have a couple extra drinks in them, that their inhibitions are going to be, or their awarenesses are going to be altered. You know, yeah,
yeah, yeah. That's true. But with MSSV, from what I've seen in Manchester, that the people who were there, they were there because
yeah,
they wanted to listen.
right. They're the 99%. Yeah, no, and honestly, most every night it goes fine.
It's
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
and if somebody's a talker, usually they end up stop talking.
yeah.
Yeah, they usually get it. They usually get it figured out,
Yeah.
and then they stop. Yeah.
Right, but it's nearly like an hour and a half. No, I've still got four regular questions that I asked the guests.
Okay,
So I hope you don't mind. So, like, I know you're going somewhere after this, but
I'll be
um,
fine.
right. So the first one, I've seen you use chains to sort of like do like swirl on the drum kit. But do you twirl when you play? I don't think I've seen you
Oh, um,
twirling
I
with
don't
this.
twirl like
the sticks.
I don't twirl like, oh, look at me twirling. I do have a deal where I apparently can flip the stick around in my hand. So if I want to play with one end, but if I want to play with the other end of the stick, I can kind of flip it in my hand. And that's sort of a half twirl. But no, I'm not much of a stick twirler all in all, other
Yeah, I
than just functional
think I
twirl.
remember that. So it obviously makes a different sound when you're using
Right.
the end bit of the stick.
When you have a drumstick, you have the tip end that's more
Yeah, yeah.
delicate, and then the butt end, which is just the thickness of the stick itself.
Right,
You're going
yeah,
to get a lot thicker tone when you play with the butt end. It's a
yeah,
more delicate tone when you play with the carved, the shaped end.
yeah. And you also have the brushes
The
when you
brushes,
start
the
to,
wire, yeah, and
yeah,
then
the one.
and then the mallets with the they look like
Yes.
cotton balls. They're actually hard felt. It gets kind of softer, but yeah, that's a holdover from the timpani. But yeah, the
Yeah.
mallets.
And you use all of those in your when you play. So
I
it's
do.
not
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Right. Well, next question is drumming heroes.
Oh
Do
my
you have
goodness.
any drumming heroes?
Oh gosh. Well, I love this Brazilian man, Ayrto. He's a percussionist and a drummer as well. He played with early Miles Davis, um, Live Evil. Has his own, music that he's done for ages and ages. Al Jackson from Stax, Memphis. Uh, all of the guys who played with Howlin' Wolf,
Oh, yeah,
um, whose name Earl. I'm always forgetting their names, um, but Art Blakey, Tony Williams, Elvin Jones, John Bonham, Ringo Starr,
yeah,
um, Ginger Baker. Uh, you ask me, and then my mind goes blank. But I span a pretty wide range of players. I mean, I
yeah.
used to study with uh, Kobla Leb Zepko. Um, no, Kwaze Badu, an African man. Um, taught me African rhythms. Um, so
Have you?
pretty much all over the map. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you met any of them like Ringo or?
No, I haven't been fortunate to meet Ringo yet. Um, um,
He turned
I got to
85.
shake Elvin Jones' hand one night. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I got to sit, about 3 feet away from Art Blakey one night, so I got to stare at his left hand all night, which was amazing.
do you, I forgot to ask you earlier because we were talking about when you said percussionist in the. I read when I started doing Ask the Drummer. I've read somewhere that a percussionist is automatically a drummer as well. But then a
Some
drummer,
people like to make the distinction, but yeah, basically, you know, but okay, a percussionist could be a person that doesn't sit down and play with his feet and his hands at a drum set. You know, there is that possibility that he plays percussion but doesn't play with his feet. But most percussionists do play
drums,
drum set drums as well usually. Yeah.
but not the other way around. Drummers don't
Not
necessarily.
every drum set drummer plays well with their hands and things. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
picking up small instruments and making sounds out of them. But the combination is more popular than ever. That's another thing. Cat's out of the bag. If you know it might it, 20 years ago when I would have a maraca, there's a set of maracas in one hand, and I'm sitting at a drum set playing a drum set with my feet and my left hand, but shaking the maracas with my right hand.
Yeah.
There might have been less people doing that. And I saw John Guerin, another hero of mine, famous studio drummer, may he rest in peace, playing a shaker, and Airto would do the same thing. But now that it's once again cat's out of the bag, more people are combining these kind of things. It's not nearly as
Exclusive to
un,
one person.
yeah, yeah, or it's not nearly as uncommon. It's more common
Yeah.
now to see people combining because these
Yeah.
things work really well together, and you don't always need the whole drum set. You might just need part of it, and then the rest comes from. I mean, even with Mavis, there were certain songs where I would shake large maracas or little teeny maracas for certain songs that really
Yeah.
benefited from the lack of cymbals,
Yeah. Yeah.
but the introduction of a shaking sound. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember it, but when I met you at Gulliver's, and I was telling you about Asta Drummer, I think I asked you this question: that is it easy, or being a drummer, it's natural, or it's like you're either born a drummer or you're not really. It's like that it just comes, in a person to do this drumming thing. Because I think I remember telling you that I can't do it. I mean, so like I tried to learn it, but I can't do it. So I think there are some
Oh, I
people.
think you could if you had a pal that somebody to play along with to kind of help with the energy. Um, because it is hard to play music in a vacuum by yourself. But when you're with other people, there's the energy of everybody combined that really helps each of the individuals as well. The combined energy. For me, I had a friend, may he rest in peace, Pat Iliff. His dad bought him a whole drum set, and 2 weeks later, he was playing the drums and singing lead in the band. Now, for me,
Wow.
that wasn't that I didn't come to it that quickly. So some people have like even more natural,
Yeah.
just sit
Yeah.
down and basically do it. And for me, it took a while. It took a while for me to get to that level. So um, some people are just born with it. I guess I was born with it, but it wasn't just close to the surface. I had to kind of dig around, dig a bit deeper for it to get it in into my into my daily life and what
Yeah.
have you. Right.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
guess it's that deal where you chase the deer until the deer falls down.
Oh.
Then you can have dinner and make some moccasins and what have you. But until that deer falls down, you're shoeless and you don't have dinner yet. But it's a battle of wills. And so you have to just stay with the program, and that's
Yeah.
how it ended up working out for me.
Yeah. Another question is: have you ever had any the years that you've been playing drums? Have you ever had any drumming accidents or drumming disasters?
Well, every once in a while, you'll you'll draw blood because you're just a little bit minor lack of accuracy, and the edge of the
Oh,
drum or the edge
yeah,
of the cymbal.
yeah.
I but for the most part, I've been okay. I've had a time where somehow the way drumstick broke. I ended up with a splinter under my fingernail while I'm playing. While I'm playing, you know, one time, but in general, I've been pretty lucky
You're
actually.
lucky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Never saw like fall
I
over.
never broke anything or anything that bad. Yeah.
Oh, it's good. Well, this is my final question now. Is
Okay.
um, what would be your advice to aspiring drummers or musicians in general, or maybe aspiring drummers? Yeah, yeah,
Well, like when we talked, um, my drum teacher early on used to always say, "Take it easy. Take it down a couple of clicks," because my energy was urgent, but and that's hard. That's your desire. It makes you anxious, but the but really the and that can kind of almost trigger the fight or flight in our nervous systems. But that's absolutely not what you want, because that's sort of a chaotic situation in your brain.
yeah.
So my my system is quietly and slowly, because if you go at it quietly and slowly, you're not activating the large muscles of the body, or you're not activating the fight or flight. So slowly and quietly, because we have large muscle groups and then we have micro muscle groups. And the micro muscles are the ones that do all the subtleties that the musician needs. So if you're going at it like gangbusters, yeah, you're going to get some results, but your results are going to be at this kind of ferocious level. But if you go at it quietly and softly, 5-10 minutes in, all of a sudden you
Yeah.
feel circulation. You feel like, I feel things changing. I feel my body and my mind, the mind to body connection, where you're making new brain waves. You're actually making new brain waves to make you able to do this movement that you've never done before. So the way to do it is quietly and slowly, and then build up. I always say, when you're boiling water on the
Yeah.
stove, it takes a second for the water to go from cold to warm to hot. And our bodies are similar in that, when you're practicing something, if you're ferociously pressured like this, you're going to play like this all the time. But people don't want that all the time. So you want to go quietly and subtly, like cool, like, yeah, we got everything under control. And then little by little, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, then all of a
Yeah.
sudden you've got like, wow, I'm really in control. I can actually play louder, but I feel like there's a unity within my system. So my big thing is slowly and quietly, and you will build up to the
What about
ability to be quiet and loud, and
yeah?
you will activate not only the large muscles but the little ones that do all the little subtle bits.
Does that go for punk bands as well, like punk drummers? Because with the
The
punk
best
band,
the best punk drummers have the ability to play quietly as well as quickly and as loud as well. Yeah. In
yeah.
my estimation, yeah, that's the best thing. And it
Wow.
also actually, it works with sex as well, of course. Where if you come in like gangbusters, you may be jumping ahead. Be
Yeah.
nice, be gentle, work your way quietly, and then let things develop from there. So it's
Yeah.
it's sort of like a life lesson. It isn't just drumming, and it isn't just sex. It's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like
about
Give a gentle approach and be friendly to your body and to your people, and allow everybody some time to matriculate and to warm into the process.
yeah,
The fact is that it can be very emotional, and it will be something that you really really desire, so you're trying really hard, but you might meet a, a point of diminished returns because you're trying too hard,
too hard
and
for
your
yeah,
body's not ready for all of that yet. So
brilliant, yeah.
yeah, so you're learning something new, you take your time, but you have to put the time in. It doesn't mean that you don't put the time in. It's just like when you study Pilates. They want they want they would rather see 3 perfect ones than 20 sloppy ones of whatever cycle you're doing, right? Because they're trying to train the mind and body to be as perfect as possible, to be in touch with the muscles and the brain, the mind and body connection. So, uh, 25 sloppy drum beats as opposed to one really good groovy beat,
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
right?
See,
Right?
I see what you mean. Yeah.
So, take your time. Like with Mavis's sister, Yvonne, every once in a while, she do the amen. They call it the amen corners. Like, take your time, Mavis, take your time. It's like she could tell when Mavis was maybe struggling a little bit. She's like,
Ah,
take
okay.
your time, Mavis, take your time. It's like, it's going to be good, but just don't try to force it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I could relate that to losing weight as well, which what I'm doing at the moment is just
Anything, if you're too rambunctious with yourself,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's like, well, it's kind of like the difference of if I'm shouting at you or talking quietly at you. It's kind of the same thing. It's like you're shouting at your body to do this.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
likes that? Almost nobody likes that. As a form of inspiration. It's like, put your arm around it. Come on, let's have a little chat here. It's like, rather than yeah,
True,
yeah.
that's true. Oh, thank you so much. Thank
Oh,
you
this
for
has been great, Ann. Thank you.
sharing
Yeah.
this to us, Drama. And when are you coming back to the UK?
There's
No,
no
no
plans so
plan.
far. Yeah. Yeah.
But hopefully, I'll get to see you again uh,
Yeah.
when the next time you're here. I'm sure I'll find out from Phil if MSSV are playing again
Right.
in the UK. But
Well,
for
we have
now,
our numbers now, so we can keep in touch too. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, Ann,
Really,
thank you. It's been a pleasure.
yeah. And I know it's like nearly 2 hours, but I hope you don't mind.
It's been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take care and enjoy the improv song like
Yeah. Improv. Yeah.
too.
We're going
Yeah.
to go to work and see what happens.
Yeah. And the rest of the weekend as well. So
Okay.
hopefully
You
see you
too.
again soon. Take care.
Okay. You too.
Bye.
Bye
See
bye.
you. Bye. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us live, and thank you very, very much to Stephen Hodges. That was absolutely amazing, and he's right, about just taking it easy, and then not really like I didn't mention that I'm trying to lose weight, but sometimes I feel like, oh, I want to give up because it's not happening. I'm not losing like 10 kilograms in 1 week. But no, it's not. It will happen. I just keep doing that, and like slowly. But yeah, I've learned so much about. As you all know, if you've been watching Astro Drama since the start, I'm not really technically, I don't know anything about drumming. I love drummers, but I love them when they're playing, but I don't really know the technical stuff. But I've been learning, and which is good. from all the amazing drummers that we've had on the show. Thank you so much once again to Stephen Hodges. We'll be back next week, and I think it's gonna be another late one next week because I'm gonna go to another record fair um, next Sunday. So I hope you'll come back. And once again, thank you very, very much to everyone. And thank you to Phil Hartley for telling people to go and see MSSV. Um, I'm really, really happy that I went to that gig. But anyways, so as always, love music, love life, love drummers. They're absolutely amazing, and hope to see you all again next week. So good night, everyone. Bye for now. Bye.